Kavan Selva Ganesh was not supposed to die. His life was filled with promise, ambition, and the dreams of a young man who believed in a better tomorrow. He was the pride of his family, a beacon of hope for his community, and a symbol of what could be achieved through hard work and perseverance. He was a young Dalit man who had done everything right, top of his class, a software engineer, a symbol of hope. Kavan broke barriers that many thought were unbreakable. He excelled in his studies, earned respect in his field, and inspired those around him to dream bigger. For many, he was living proof that caste should not define destiny.
But in July 2025, in Tirunelveli, Tamil Nadu, none of his achievements mattered. The city, known for its vibrant culture and history, became the backdrop for a tragedy that would shake the conscience of the nation. In a single moment, all that Kavan had worked for was overshadowed by the harsh reality of caste prejudice. He was killed for loving someone from a dominant caste. Their relationship, which should have been a celebration of love and unity, became a target for hatred and violence. The simple act of choosing whom to love cost him his life.
His murder shattered the myth that education and success can protect you from caste violence. No matter how high you rise, the shadow of caste can still reach you. Kavan's story is a painful reminder that social progress is fragile, and that deep-rooted prejudices can destroy even the brightest futures.
We allege it was an honor killing, planned by the family of the woman he loved, her parents, both police officers, and her brother. The very people sworn to uphold the law became the architects of this tragedy. Their positions of power only made the injustice more chilling, as they used their authority to silence love and enforce old hierarchies.
The public outcry was fierce. Across cities and villages, people took to the streets demanding answers and accountability. The anger was not just for Kavan, but for every young person whose dreams are threatened by the violence of caste. If Kavan wasn't safe, who is? His death sent shockwaves through the youth of India, forcing many to question their own safety and the future of intercaste relationships. It exposed the vulnerability that still exists, even for those who seem to have made it.
His death is a brutal reminder. Caste can turn protectors into predators. When those entrusted with justice become perpetrators, the very foundation of society is shaken. Kavan's story forces us to confront the uncomfortable truth that the fight against caste is far from over.
Now his family fights for justice. Their grief is matched only by their determination to ensure that Kavan's death is not forgotten. They stand as a testament to resilience, refusing to let his story be silenced. Not just for Kavan, but for a future where love isn't a crime. Their struggle is for every young couple who dreams of a world free from the shackles of caste, where love and equality are not punishable by death. His story is a wake-up call to confront the ugly truth of caste in our society. It challenges us to reflect, to speak out, and to demand a world where no one has to pay with their life for simply loving someone. Kavan's murder was shocking, but not surprising. For many, it was a brutal reminder of the dangers that Dalits and Adivasis face every single day in India. The pain and outrage that followed his death echoed across the country. But for those who live with caste discrimination, this was just another chapter in a long, ongoing struggle. It's part of a horrifying pattern, a cycle of violence and injustice that repeats itself, generation after generation, often with little consequence for the perpetrators.
Caste atrocity is a daily reality for millions of Dalits and Adivasis. Violence, humiliation, and fear are constant. Even the simple act of walking to school or gathering in public can be fraught with danger. Many children grow up learning to be cautious, to keep their heads down, and to expect hostility from those around them.
In Odisha, Dalit men were forced to drink sewage, a punishment meant to degrade and dehumanize. Such acts are not isolated. They are meant to send a message of dominance and control. In UP, a wedding was attacked for using a public hall. The joy of a family celebration was shattered by violence, simply because of caste. In MP, a teen was shot for asking for ration. The right to food, dignity, and safety is denied to so many just because of their birth.
These are not stories from the past. They're happening now, in our towns and villages in broad daylight. Every week brings new headlines, new victims, and new families left to mourn.
In just 6 months of 2025, over 100 anti-Dalit atrocities were documented. Many more go unreported, hidden by fear, shame, or the indifference of authorities. Activists and NGOs struggle to keep up, knowing that for every case they record, there are countless others that never make it to the news.
Dalit women face even greater danger. 10 are raped every day in India. Their vulnerability is compounded by both caste and gender, making justice even harder to attain. Many survivors are silenced by threats, stigma, or lack of support.
This violence is a national crisis, not limited to any one state or region. From the smallest villages to the largest cities, the shadow of caste discrimination stretches everywhere, affecting millions.
Official numbers show over 50,000 cases a year, but experts believe the real number is much higher. Many victims never come forward, fearing retaliation or knowing that justice is unlikely. The silence around these crimes is deafening, and the lack of accountability only fuels more violence.
Cavan's case made headlines, sparking outrage and debate. But for every Cavan, there are hundreds whose names we never hear, whose stories are lost in the noise. The violence that killed him is the same violence that haunts Dalit lives everywhere, an ever-present threat that shapes daily existence. It's a deep sickness in the soul of our nation, one that demands not just outrage, but urgent action and lasting change.
India's laws to protect Dalits and Adivasis look strong on paper, with detailed provisions and strict penalties for offenders. But when you look beyond the legal text, the reality is far more troubling. The gap between what is promised and what is delivered is vast, leaving the most vulnerable exposed to repeated injustice.
The POA Act is supposed to prevent atrocities, but it's only as good as those who enforce it. Laws alone can't protect people if the authorities responsible for upholding them are indifferent, or worse, complicit. For many, the law is just a distant hope, not a shield.
Police often refuse to register cases under the Act, dismissing them as minor disputes or pressuring victims to compromise. Sometimes, victims are even threatened or intimidated into silence, making it nearly impossible for them to seek justice. The first step towards justice is blocked at the very gate.
In Cavan's case, the alleged involvement of police officers shows the depth of betrayal. When those meant to protect instead become perpetrators or shield the guilty, it sends a chilling message to the entire community.
Even when cases are registered, investigations are slow, evidence is lost, and witnesses are threatened. Files gather dust, and crucial leads are ignored. The process is so drawn out that many lose hope before they ever see a courtroom.
Only 36% of cases end in conviction. That means the vast majority of perpetrators walk free, emboldened by a system that rarely holds them accountable. For victims, this number is more than a statistic. It's a daily reality. Most cases drag on for years, leaving families waiting for justice. The endless delays are not just bureaucratic hurdles, they are a form of punishment for those who dare to speak out.
This isn't just failure, it's a strategy to exhaust victims and protect perpetrators. The system wears people down, making them feel powerless and alone, until many simply give up.
Attackers know the system is on their side. They act without fear, confident that the odds are stacked in their favor. This impunity fuels more violence, creating a cycle that is hard to break.
For victims, the law meant to protect them is often out of reach, a distant promise that never materializes. Each visit to the police station, each unanswered plea deepens the sense of betrayal. It becomes just another broken promise, another reminder that justice is not for everyone. The system sends a clear message: caste violence will go unpunished, and those who suffer will be left to fight alone. Until this changes, the cycle of injustice will continue.
Police and court failures are deeply tied to politics, where caste and power are inseparable. Political leaders often protect perpetrators to keep these votes.
Dominant castes form powerful vote banks. Local leaders pressure police, interfere in investigations, and defend the accused.
Victims know their attackers have powerful friends.
Justice is sacrificed for electoral gain. Even parties claiming social justice stay silent when their own supporters are involved.
Communities are silenced, activists targeted.
This creates fear and helplessness.
The political system, meant to guarantee equality, becomes a tool of oppression.
Election campaigns deepen caste divisions, promising progress but protecting old hierarchies.
Politicians condemn violence in words, but rarely act to change the system.
Without real political will, the cycle of violence continues.
The root of caste violence lies deeper than law or politics. It's in our culture and minds.
The caste system is a mindset, teaching some are superior, others inferior.
Children learn caste not from books but from daily life, rituals, rules, and silent signals.
In Karnataka, a Dalit woman became a school cook. Dominant caste parents pulled their children out, refusing food from her hands.
Caste decides where you live, who you marry, even which well you use.
Dalits are still forced into separate colonies, denied entry to temples, treated as unclean.
This dehumanization justifies violence. Intercaste love is seen as pollution, provoking deadly responses.
Breaking this mindset is the hardest fight. It needs a cultural revolution, challenging prejudice at home and in society.
Laws can punish murder, but only society can kill the idea that fuels it.
Until we change hearts and minds, the violence will continue.
Caste violence is like a stone in a pond. The ripples spread far. For families like Kavins, it's a shattering loss and a long, painful fight for justice.
The wider Dalit community is warned into silence, fear and submission. Dreams shrink, rights are abandoned. The perpetrator's community learns arrogance and lawlessness, believing violence is justified and above the law. This erodes compassion and respect for justice, poisoning their own values. The whole society suffers. Every atrocity is a blow to democracy and equality. It exposes the gap between the India we claim to be and the India we are. Our international reputation suffers, and young people grow up in a divided, fearful country. The violence that killed Kavin was an attack on the very idea of India. We all pay the price.
Young Indians live with contradictions, modern ideas, but ancient caste chains. For Dalits, Kavin's story is both inspiration and warning. Success is possible, but so is deadly backlash. This generation is more educated, connected, and unwilling to accept injustice. We use technology to share stories and build solidarity. Our assertiveness is seen as a threat, making us targets.
For dominant caste youth, the challenge is to unlearn prejudice and recognize privilege. It means listening, learning, and standing up, even against your own community. The hope is in unity. Change needs allies from every background.
When young people unite, they can challenge old ideas and demand accountability.
The young didn't create caste, but they can end it. Their energy and idealism are our greatest hope for a caste-free India.
The journey is long, but every step matters. Together, we can build a just society, start conversations, challenge bigotry, and support those fighting for justice. Teachers, make classrooms inclusive, teach Dalit histories, and challenge prejudice. Police and officials, do your duty. Register cases, protect victims, and investigate fairly. Politicians, stop playing politics with lives. Stand against caste violence, don't shield perpetrators, and push for real reforms. Change is built by ordinary people taking a stand every day. Young people, educate yourselves, speak up, refuse to tolerate discrimination, and use your voice online and offline. Ending caste feels impossible, but change starts with small, consistent actions. Everyone has a role. Students, teachers, police, politicians.
Kavin Selva Ganesh's story is a tragedy, but it must spark hope and action. We face a choice: continue with division or build a society of empathy and justice. Imagine an India where worth is measured by dreams, not caste, where love is not a crime. This future is possible if we fight for it, together.
It takes solidarity, listening, and challenging bigotry in our own homes. The soul of India is at stake.
Let Kavin's memory inspire us to act, to build an India free from the shadow of caste. A future without fear is possible, and it's up to us to create it.